that there's this huge, massive reform coming that's going to
that we don't know.
I don't understand it. I know public option has something to do with government. You know, they
but
don't
also
get
to
it.
have a president who was pushing to say we got to get this bill passed before the recess, I think was also out of step with most Americans.
Right.
This is one of the most important reforms ever, if you want to call it a reform. Let's take some time and talk about it. On that, let's a couple other topics. Yeah. During the campaign, the man said, "You can judge me by the company I keep." And then we found out that the company he keeps includes guys like his spiritual leader, who I believe is just a stone-cold racist, guys like Skip Gates, who believes that a cop helping him is actually racial profiling. Now, Van Jones, who believes that all Republicans are a-holes and had to resign. You know, when it comes to the people that he has surrounded himself with, including his energy secretary, who believes that we are teenagers who need to be taught properly, I think he has been superb in damage control, whereas another president, President Bush, for instance, if he kept the same company, would have been torn limb to limb. You take that one first.
I think if you want to go down the cabinets of every president that we've ever had, you will find that most of them had somebody go to jail. Many of them had people who, I'm not saying he won't. No. That, you know, people who were indicted, special prosecutors. This is not exactly a new thing. I think with the point that you're making about Obama, I mean, if you want to blame Skip Gates on Obama, that's sort of pretty ridiculous.
No, this is a guy who came to his defense. This is a friend of his, and my compliment. This is a compliment. Yeah. I don't think I've seen a politician so good in damage control as President Obama. First of all, I think he's got a media that's willing to give him a little bit of time before they jump on him, more so than any other previous president. A whole weekend, in fact, for guys like Van Jones, where he didn't get any media at all. But in order to come up with a plan like a beer summit, let's think about this. This guy was able to get us to stop talking about the boneheaded, quail-like potato spelling mistake he made by talking about racial profiling with Skip Gates when it had nothing to do with that. And instead, the chattering classes start talking about what kind of beer should they be drinking at the beer summit. This is evil genius, I tell you. The guy knows how to take damage control, and I think there's a media out there that loves him enough to give him a pass on all of this.
Well, first of all, you know, it's interesting that we have a media. You know, we have a divided media, right? So there is, you know, people can go to can go to their own television station and listen to Obama be bashed all day long if they want to. I mean,
yes, you're right. We have a divided media in that we have some reporters that like Obama and some people who love Obama and some people who wet their pants over Obama. So there's different stages.
But the Denver Post doesn't have any of those. I mean, it doesn't have that. It doesn't have that. I mean, we write on the front page about Obama doesn't have anything to do with whether somebody likes him or not. We didn't write the story. We published it. I mean,
are you kidding me? The Van Jones story when he resigned was on the very last page of Section A. It was on page 23, page 24.
Van Jones is a fascinating point. Van Jones became a story because Glenn Beck brought it up, right? So, I mean, so for many of the people who don't watch Glenn Beck, like myself, we didn't even realize that it was a story until people started bringing it up. Now, this is not
one of 34 czars that have no congressional oversight, and here's a guy.
You know what Van Jones did? Do you know what his job was?
Yeah.
What was it?
The czar of green jobs.
So what did he do? What was his budget?
He does nothing.
He did nothing.
So it's okay that he screams.
If the Bush administration had 34 czars,
how many did they have?
8, I think.
They had more than 8.
How many did they have? You have the number?
No, I don't.
Well, whatever it was.
Nobody cared.
I don't. Yeah, exactly. Well, but the thing is,
he has no power, so it's okay. It's
not okay. Who said it was okay?
Or it shouldn't be.
And by the way, I don't think that Van Jones calling Republicans a-holes is a big deal. Frankly, I think what's
many
a big
of them are. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, what's a big deal was that he believed in 9/11 conspiracies, things like that. I mean, so and his policies, frankly, and the things he wanted to do. But you know, I think the SARS would be a huge deal in if the Bush administration had if he surrounded himself with all these sort of weird guys. Look at Holdren. Eric Holdren wrote a book where
but it's very funny that the Bush administration, which was was all about the strength of the executive branch. I mean, Dick Cheney said that the executive branch had been tremendously weakened by the last few presidents. That what the thing that needed to be done was it was supposed to be strengthened, and so then have people cry about Barack Obama.
I'm with you. I'm with you on Bush, but you should,
Trust me, you're going to find.
I would agree there should be more oversight. Yeah. I'm not arguing for czars.
Yeah. No, I agree about the Bush administration's abuse of executive
And you
power.
might say that, yes, you can go to Fox News and you can listen to Glenn Beck and Rush Limbaugh and get all your Obama bashing you like. But when you look at the last election, the one before this, the Kerry election, when the Washington Press Corps was surveyed, 95% of them voted for John Kerry. To say
but they didn't love John Kerry. I promise you.
Yeah, but they sure didn't. They sure didn't
You're
love.
talking about whether people love Barack Obama.
The media gives Barack Obama more wiggle room to control these embarrassing moments.
Media, there's just too much media.
Why was the Denver Post?
Beck,
why would the Denver Post put this on the last page?
Let me ask you a question because they didn't think it was important. That's why. So let me ask you a question about Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck called Barack Obama a racist. Said he hated white culture. Now tell me when in American history you could have had somebody who has millions of people watching him on television who could have kept his show if he called the President of the United States a racist. Said he hated, let's say he accused George Bush of hating black culture.
What does that got to do with
You're
Obama?
talking about the media loving Obama.
Glenn Beck is not
the media.
He's not a journalist.
He's an opinionist.
He is the media.
No,
he's part of it.
He's not a journalist. He's not a journalist.
Yeah,
We've
only got a minute. We've only got a minute left here. Let's wrap this up. You see, they're very good. We're talking about Obama. Now we're talking about Glenn Beck. It's the liberal two-step.
You're talking about the media that loves Obama. You brought up media. I didn't.
Get a haircut, you freak.
That's advocacy.
Grow
That's
some
journalism.
hair. Grow some hair. Look at this. Grow some hair.
This is 3 months of
You
Rogaine
can
right
grow
there.
some hair, then you can talk to me about my hair.
Maybe we can share. We'll do the liberal thing. I need half of yours. All right, got a minute left. Wrap up the first 200 days or so of it.
I think it's been disappointing probably for liberals as well because really nothing's gotten done. I mean, other than the stimulus nothing.
Huge.
Yeah, the stimulus is huge, but that's spending that will end at one point. It's not really anything that's fundamentally changed the way we live our lives in America, I don't think.
Yeah, I think he'll be judged by health care and to a lesser extent things like cap and trade. But health care will be the thing that his first year particularly is judged by.
Will he, yes or no, will he be able to get the public option part of health care?
I don't think so. I think it'll be a co-op or some other sort of backdoor on that.
He'll get something like it, yeah. It won't say public option. He'll get something like it.
All right. Sir, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Mr. Harsanyi, thank you. You can read them in the Post, but who wants to read? Listen to me on 850 KOA, 10 o'clock every night. Tell a friend about independent thinking. Check out our webpage, independenceinstitute.org. We'll see you next week.
You jibber-jab, bamboozle, nuka-noozle, bippity-bop, she-call. You jibber-jab, bamboozle, nuka-noozle, bippity-bop, she-call. I mean, you keep on talking, but you don't know where to turn it